Okay. Well, hi, tubers and tubettes. It's Uncle Paul. And look who's joining us. It's the world famous Baby May. I, real quick, I just gotta say it. It's been funny because recently, with some of the videos that I've set out there, I've talked about Baby May the last few times, and every now and then when we go out, people will recognize me and they'll say hi and I like your videos, and it's all great. I love meeting expats. I love meeting guys that watch the channel and chit-chatting with them. And recently, the last two people that we've met have said, "Hey, Paul, I watch your channel," and they've said, "Oh, and look, it's Baby May." So Baby May's begun to get her own little following going on, and I think it's great. So anyway, I'm talking about on this video is, do I ever get bored? Well, how can you? Seriously, when there was a time when I first moved out here that I was kind of bored. I had just moved into this place, and I'd been in town for about I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and I just didn't know my way around. And I was coming off of an illness, and I'd had a minor stroke, and I had all these physical ailments when I first got here. So finally started feeling better, but I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody. And the guys that I was meeting at that time were pretty much guys that just sort of sat around and drank beer. And it was up here in Valencia, a place called the Red Tables, which has pretty much lost its luster anymore. But I didn't ever find that entertaining to sit around and listen to a bunch of guys tell me about, how great they were. What's that saying? The older we get, the greater we were. So, I could have done that in America. And I find that a lot of guys that retire, it's been my observation, if they've been really active at work, or more importantly, if they had an important position at work where they were in charge, they were the boss, large and in charge, and they had employees and secretaries and stuff like that. And then they retire, and all of a sudden their little power base just disappears. And it's just them and the old lady, or it's just them. And now they've got to try to find a hobby. And maybe they play golf, or maybe they do this, or maybe they do that. But there's been a lot of instances where guys in that position become very depressed and very unhappy. And a lot of guys die shortly after they retire. And I just think it's from lack of interest. They haven't got a plan B. They haven't got anything that they're no longer a big deal. They're no longer a big fish in a little pond. They're just a little guppy in a big ocean of people. So, fortunately for me, that doesn't apply. I couldn't, number one, I was never large and in charge. I was just a working stiff. And number two, I couldn't wait to get out of that scene and get over here and see what kind of trouble I could get in. And on a daily basis, there's usually something to do that needs to get done. The normal stuff that you have in the States, that you have in Australia, that you have in New Zealand, wherever you're watching this from, still applies here. You still need to go to the market. You still need to go pick up your laundry. You still need to go to the store, go to the dentist, go to the doctor, whatever. And over here, however, all of those little errands that I've mentioned takes on a whole new meaning, because it's not like you just hop in the car and drive down where I used to go, was the local Walmart, and just get it all knocked out in one place. Well, no. Over here, it's a whole new deal. So what did we do the other day? We went to the doctor because Baby May's had a really tough upper respiratory infection with your cough and everything. Yeah. And, oh, by the way, she got me this shirt for my birthday. and, and she got me, are you ready for this? This is like the all-time ultimate present. And I'll tell you the story behind it. But she got me my very own chicken. But back to the doctor, and then I'll get to the chicken. So we took baby May to the doctor. And while we were there, I took her to my doctor. And she's getting a lot better because they loaded her up with like double set of antibiotics and this and that and the other. This poor woman's been hacking and coughing and sneezing for 3 months. So we took one trip to the doctor when it first happened, a different doctor. They gave her some stuff. It wasn't really effective. And long story short, I just said, enough is enough. You know, it's not in the budget, but we're going to make it work. And so we took her down to my doctor. Now, while we were at my doctor gives me a script for a drug called Xanax, which is an anti-panic disorder, if you will, drug, because that's what I suffered from when I was in America. And they're relatively addictive. And so when I came over here, one of the first things I did was I made sure that I could still refill those. And I was taking 2 pills a day when I left the States. And 3 years later here in the Philippines, I was down to taking just a half of 1 pill. So that's like a 75% reduction. So obviously my mental state, my physical state, and the panic disorder thing is pretty much melted away. And I've used them just as maintenance medicines. And the only real consequence from quitting them completely for me is that there is a possibility that I could have a seizure. And I tried to cold turkey off of them one time in the States. I did have a seizure. So that woke me up. And I've decided the lesser of 2 evils is just to continue to take the medication and call it a day. Well, not so simple. For the last 3 years, I've had no issues. I've gone down, gotten my refill. And like I said, I did it while we got her handled. She wrote me my script. So we went and we got baby May's medication. And I took it to the usual pharmacy. There's one pharmacy here in town that will fill up the Xanax prescription. And when they handed it over to them, they said, well, that's not in stock. And so that was a little bit of a jolt. And I said, well, when will you have some? No, they don't know. And does anybody know? Well, can I talk to the guy that orders your drugs for you? Trying to be cool. And they just pointed to the phone number on May's receipt, right? You got a receipt. And they said, just call that number. Okay. So we got home. I called the number and the number didn't work. I said, well, I've got like 2 pills left and I don't want to have a seizure and I don't necessarily want to start going through withdrawals. So maybe there's a substitute that I can get for these pills. So sent a text off to the said doctor that we went to visit, talked to her secretary, and she said, yeah, come on back tomorrow. And I told her what the issue was. She said, yes, the doctor says there is a different drug that you can take and you should be fine. So cool. And the next day it was raining cats and dogs. And I, as you guys know, me and May just buzz around on my gay looking little red scooter, and taking that down in a pouring rain is not necessarily a good idea. So I sent another message to the doctor and said, hey, how late are you guys open till? Because I want to wait till it stops raining. They said, well, we go to lunch at noon and then we're back in at 3. And my first thought was, well, it's good to be king. A little 3-hour break. And so we said, okay. And yet it stopped raining. And so May and we took off about 2 o'clock. We went down to Robinson's, we went to Bo's, had our proverbial coffee. And then a little bit before 3, we bugged down to our doctor's office, which is located in one of the hospitals here. And neither one of us were wild about going back to this hospital. We weren't wild about going in the first place because this coronavirus thing is going on. And I thought, if anybody's sick, it's going to be at the hospital. But you got to do what you got to do, right? So anyway, we go down there, and 3 o'clock, nobody there. And what did we do? We hung out for what, 30 minutes? About 3:30, somebody finally showed up. And they opened the door, and they had told me, just give us 200 pesos for the new script. So I gave them 200 pesos, and they had already written out the script for the new drug and handed that to me. And, 2 minutes later, we were gone. So we went around back to the old pharmacy, handed them the script. After waiting in line for, 20 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes we waited. And got up there, and the guy handed the script back to me. And I said, what's the problem? And he said, well, she didn't finish the date. She put 2/6, but she didn't put 20. I said, really? Yeah. So May could see the steam coming out of my ears. Poor May. She got to put up with me. So I said, the hell with it. We got Kimco parked. We're just going to walk, because it was just around the corner. So we walked through my favorite place, which is the public market. Went back to the doctor, and now it's 4 o'clock, and explained to the secretary she didn't finish the date. She's got to write 20 on there. And first thing they said is, why didn't you just write 20 in there? I very loudly, not loudly, but I clearly stated that I don't forge prescriptions. And I also wasn't in possession of a light blue pen. And I also don't have the same handwriting as the doctor. So can I have a 20 put on the end of my script? So she did that. And God knows what they think about me anymore. So we went back to back to the pharmacy, and got that filled up. And it's Valium, which is a different makeup from, or a different chemistry, if you will, from the Xanax. And the good news is it's a lot cheaper. I was paying $140 to get a prescription of the Xanax. I'm paying $20 to get a prescription of the Valium. And so out of every cloud comes a rainbow, right? The bad news was, for the last 48 hours since I've been taking these, it's caused me to feel blue and sad and depressed. And just now started snapping out of it. So I knew that was coming. And I also wanted to make this kind of a public service announcement to you guys, is if you're taking any kind of a narcotic or any kind of a class A or B or whatever drug that it is, you're going to want to really, research the availability of that drug. If you're on a maintenance medication out here, or out where you're at right now, and you're coming out here, or anywhere else for that matter, Vietnam, wherever you might be going, you're going to want to do your research and check. You're going to want to find a guy like me or someone over there, wherever you might go, that you can touch base with and maybe have them verify or clarify or investigate for you if they will. There's guys like Gio in the Philippines. He does Skype consultations with you for like $30 or something like that. Might be worth the money to contact a guy like that and spend the $30, chat with him, and have him look into it for you. So that's that. So the chicken, how did my chicken come in? There's another reason why I never get bored in the Philippines. May and I were, May and I went up to the plaza, the Valencia Plaza, on Sundays, and that's where they have guys cooking like German sausages. Another friend of mine that works up there, he'll make you a pastrami sandwich or a steak sandwich, and it's just a different flavor. You know, it's a different taste. And so while we're up there, I go over there and I hobnob with the other expats, and we shoot the breeze. Or a couple of friends will meet me up there, and we'll eat. And then May will go, and because she doesn't like that food, and she'll do her vegetable shopping. Yeah, so she'll go, and she gets good deals over there. I've already told you guys how she can negotiate. And so she'll buy the fruits and she'll buy the vegetables, and then we'll meet up. Well, one time when we were walking through the plaza, there was some people walking their dogs, and there was also some people that had a cage, and they were selling chickens, cocks, fighting cocks. And so when May saw the dog, she goes, "Oh, baby, don't you like dogs?" And I said, "I love dogs." And she says, "Well, maybe we should get a dog." And me being me, I just said, "No, I want to get a pet chicken." I said, "In fact, I can take the chicken to the bar with me, and I'll just sit down and I'll put the chicken right next to me, and I'll say, 'Give me a beer and one for my chicken.'" And she thought that was the funniest visual. Me going on the scooter with some goofy chicken, going into a bar, sitting down, and putting the chicken next to me and saying, "Give my chicken a beer while we're at it." So what did she do? She bought me a chicken. This chicken is going to start, I'm going to figure out a way to incorporate this chicken into my videos. And maybe make him a mascot or something. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it. A lot of guys over here, I can tell, are bored, and I think, are victims of their own personality. They tend to just kind of go to the bars and drink and complain and moan and groan. And I got a feeling that's what they did back home. And now they're over here doing it, but on a much smaller budget. So if you're coming over here and you were large and you were in charge, you may want to, I don't know, do a gut check. If you're prone to depression or boredom or anything like that, you may want to do a gut check. But there is a big opportunity over here to meet a lot of like-minded people. And the circle of friends that I've had is awesome. It keeps expanding. I keep meeting new subscribers rather, that become new friends. We get to spend time. In fact, I got this microphone from my buddy King Lee, who came out and contacted me, and he hooked up with me and actually did an interview with him. So he was really sweet. He knows we're on a tight budget, and he gave me this gizmo. So maybe my audio will come out a little bit better. And that's that. I think May's getting ready to sing a song and do a dance routine right now. Is that right? No. Okay. Next time. All right, so listen. Be sure to leave your comments, suggestions. And what I want to do in a video, either my next video or one coming up, is questions and answers. So if you guys will send me some questions, keep them clean, or at least relatively clean, and I'll answer them for you. And I know that I get questions about this and questions about that, People give me suggestions as to what to do with my videos, and that's fine. But I'm pretty much just a talking head for now. I don't do a lot of location shots. There's other people that do that. They do it really well, and it's just not my thing. So let me know some questions. Maybe I'll pick like the top 3 or the top 5, and we'll go ahead and answer them for you. May also started a YouTube channel, but I'm going to keep it secret for now because she got some weird comments on it when she posted it. But it's her little cooking channel, and some Looney Tune made a remark. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. But anyway, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the debut of the world famous Baby May, and we will chat to you guys later. All right, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.